Hello boys, girls, and bees! I'm Senpai, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the sudden disappearance of Mysta Rias, or Mysta Rias, by Tierson's Hideaway. So like a documentary on why Mr. left Niji Sanji's they're still trying to recover from the death of Mr. Not the disappearance. He died. We know he died, but yes, if you do anyone enjoy this video, please consider liking, subscribing, going to my channel, and check out this little documentary about Mr.'s graduation.
Sensation with 1 million subscribers on YouTube to burnout, Mysta. From a rising star to a VTubing sensation with 1 million subscribers on YouTube to burnout, Mysta Rias was once one of the most prominent names in EN VTubing.
Yeah,
until
100%.
One day he realized that he could no longer continue on. December 2021, Niji Sanji debuted a new 5-man group known as Luxium. Luxium was the 4th wave for Niji Sanji EN and the first all-male wave of Niji Sanji talent. Mysta Rias appeared as the great detective, capable of solving all mysteries. Over the course of 24 minutes, we came to learn so much about Mysta.
Yeah,
with
like
his
he likes
constant
magnums,
panicking, odd facial expressions, and his desire to be stepped on. His desire to be stepped on probably has no connection to his liking of Magnum.
Not at all.
Mostly because he is referring to ice cream and not to the other thing.
I did not even know that magnums were a condom. I thought they were just an ice cream. Well, to be fair, when I watched this, I was like, what? Like 17, right?
It was only a short while before Mysta became the first Luxium member to be cancelled, with a tweet asking the following question about who washes their rice.
What even was the context as to why he tweeted this? That's what I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know, why he tweeted that.
Immediately, Mysta received a lot of backlash. Although this was the fun kind, where people united around a silly moment, rather than the harsher kind.
But he's going to get the harsher kind in the future, sadly.
After a silly debut and a bunch of fun antics, it was only a matter of time before Mysta became extremely successful. On December 15th, 2022, Mysta Rias hit 1 million subscribers. In the English VTubing space, VTubing was a girls' party, with the largest English VTubers being female. VShojo, Hololive, and even Niji Sanji EN before Luxium consisted of all female talents. The only place where male talents survived was outside of the corporate space, where some of the larger talents were men. The lack of male talent in the early days led to some discussions.
Oh, hey, it's random!
If men had a place in EN.
The truth about male VTubers, honest opinion, hand to heart, I'm a bit afraid of offending some very close friends I made in the VTuber community with this video, but here we go.
And VTubing, and Mysta and the rest of Luxium became icons for proving that men can make it in the English VTubing space.
Men definitely can.
In his early days, Mysta talked a bit about his past. Before Niji Sanji, Mysta grew up as an extremely poor boy with a hardworking single mother supporting him. His family was so broke that they were forced to rely upon government assistance to live, which caused his mother a great deal of grief, even making her feel like a failure. Unfortunately, due to their financial situation, Mysta's family wasn't always able to pay rent and other bills, which meant that he was forced to move from place to place, destroying his chances to have childhood friends. Eventually, Mysta left his family for college, choosing a degree in media studies, but eventually he dropped out, realizing that getting a job in the field would be difficult and that he was spending too much money on the degree for the payoff to be worth it.
I wonder if because he says he did media, he went to media studies. I wonder if he actually was able to learn some stuff from that, and that he was able to convert that into his VTubing, I guess. But that innately shows that he's always had a fascination with streaming and with media. But yeah, getting a job in the industry definitely is hard. I'm pretty sure I remember him saying that he dropped out because he wanted to help his mom out financially, which is also unfortunate. I mean, obviously a college is very expensive, and it's not even a guarantee that you're going to get work. But I do hope to some extent, I do think that maybe to a certain extent that maybe what he did, like some of the things he did learn in media study, was able to help him in VTubing. He may have learned some skills in film in order to help with his VTubing, but obviously going to college to like help you in terms of like, you know, streaming or like getting better content creation doesn't necessarily is definitely not what you're going to college for, because media study, going to college like that, is more for actually getting like, you know, getting a diploma and getting a job in the industry, in the film industry. But I do think to some extent though those skills definitely could help you in terms of content creation. But then it's just like, well, if you want to be a content creator and you don't want to work in the film industry, why are you spending 4 years of your life to get a diploma to go into the film industry when you want to be like a VTuber or like a content creator and not go into the film industry, you know? But
worth it. Instead, he chose to help support his mom. Fortunately for Mysta, a chance to make it big arrived in June 2021 when Nijisanji parent company Anycolor announced 2 simultaneous auditions, one intended for female characters and the other intended for male characters. The first audition resulted in Nijisanji's third wave, Etheria, while applicants for the second formed Luxium. According to a story that he later backtracked on, Mysta originally wasn't going to audition at all, but after getting into VTubing, he had a friend, and this friend encouraged him to audition for Nijisanji.
I do remember him saying this.
Fortunately, by joining Nijisanji, Mysta became financially secure enough to buy a house for his mother. As a creator, Mysta wanted to try and talk to his fans more often than other creators, replying under comments and videos and such, so as to interact with those who are supporting
part
him.
Of the community.
As a warning, the following clip is quite long, and I encourage you to watch the full version for additional context.
Fan base, because it makes you seem like, oh, they're high up, you know, it makes you look higher up and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not like that, man. I don't want to be looked at higher up. I want to be looked as a friend to my fucking fan base. You know, I want to show that I appreciate them by talking to them. You know? Oh. That's why people are like, oh my god, you replied to my tweet.
Right.
It's like, congrats. Yes, isn't that what a streamer should be doing?
Right.
Mysta later clarified that this wasn't a parasocial relationship because he didn't refer to fans as being close friends, but rather more distant friends.
Like, I get what he's saying, like, to kind of build a, you know, to have a relationship with his audience and to feel like his audience shouldn't put him up on a pedestal and think of him being, like, better than his audience. Because I think a lot of the time when you're like a streamer or content creator and you're like a big content creator, I think initially all your fans, there is this inherent thing where they think of, they put you up on a pedestal to a certain extent, and they think that, you know, or like you're better than them, or like, oh, you know, Mysta would never reply to my comment, Mysta would never reply to my tweet. You know, it's that sort of thing. And I think that like definitely makes sense, you know. Well, to make it clear, after reading a lot of the comments, I said this offhanded comment while eating and tired. While I do still mostly agree with what I said here, don't worry, I know and have drawn the line multiple times of where I stand within power social relationships, and will continue to reinforce this as time goes on. My main point was I want to be seen as a friend in the sense of a homie who is fun to listen to, if that makes sense, not a close friend. Yeah, I get what he's trying to say. He's saying, like, you know, he wants to, like, you know, feel like have a, like, I guess I feel like you can have, like, a relationship with your audience and a relationship with your viewers and draw that line where it's not power socials, in the sense of, like, I feel like you can have a relationship and you can feel a sense of connection with your audience, but that not be like personal, as in like not feeling like you're actually, you know, close friends, but like maybe just like like what Mysta said, like a homie that you can talk to. I get where he's coming from, I get what he's saying, but I think definitely like in these kinds of things you definitely need to try and use your words wisely, because sadly in a lot of instances things that you say can always be taken out of context, especially when you have the kind of platform that Mr. does.
Didn't refer to fans as being close friends, but rather more distant friends. Mysta's comments evoked mixed feelings amongst fans, with many who commented expressing reservation due to the danger of creating parasocial relationships. A parasocial relationship occurs when a fan feels closer to a talent than is truly the case, which may eventually cause the fan to feel more resentful when the talent doesn't give the fan the attention that the fan feels he or she deserves. However, in most cases, the talent doesn't even know that the fan exists. Often, these parasocial fans will begin to demand behaviors from streamers that are more fitting to close friends, violating boundaries and expecting far too much attention from the streamer. Likewise, a streamer can feel a parasocial relationship with fans, expecting that every fan is there for the streamer's personality, and that fans will back the creator up when things go south. Mysta's desire to
I do like that he said that parasocialism can go kind of both ways, because I think people don't think of that. Like, you can, like, that, you know, it can actually be both ways. There can be this sort of thing where a streamer or a content creator can kind of build this sense of entitlement in a sense, and have this expectations based on their, like, viewership and based on their viewers.
Interact with fans was risky. On one hand, it makes him more relatable because he becomes more real in the mind of fans.
Because that's why I liked
On the other,
him.
it opens Mysta up to a lot more attacks by haters and antis.
Yeah, because that's the issue, because I feel like that made me like him more, but then at the same time, it definitely leads to more antis and attacks, like he said.
Only time would tell if this strategy would later come back to bite him. And Mysta eventually became a bit known for speaking about his personal life more than normal, and he was quite open about how he felt. But over time, he stopped talking about his personal life because of blowback from fans who didn't like him talking about it.
You know what's actually sad? I never say when I'm feeling sad anymore. I never say when I'm feeling sad on stream. I never say when I'm feeling sad on Twitter, because every time I have, people say, like, I shouldn't do that.
Right.
What I tend to do now is, instead of vocalizing it to anyone, I hold it in and I order a chocolate slice of cake, and I eat it, and it improves my mood.
Around April of 2022, Mysta...
I think that's, like, really sad, and innately that's, like, what content creators a lot of the times. It's kind of like they, like, a lot of the, like, there are a lot of, like, innately there are viewers who kind of, like, really use you or see you as, like, sort of like a tool. It's kind of like, you know, because innately, like you think about it like this, it's like I use Mysta, like, from the fans' perspective, to make me feel better when I'm having a bad day. But then if Mr. Streamer starts talking about how they're sad, well, that makes my mood go down. That makes me feel sad. So, like, sometimes I think innately there are sort of viewers who kind of do build this sense of entitlement, the sense of, like, you know, they kind of don't see streamers as people, in the sense of, like, they think that streamers are only there to make the viewer feel better and to entertain the viewer, and that sometimes viewers actually don't fucking care about the creator's own health and well-being. They don't give a fuck, which is sad, but it's true. They don't. I think a lot of your community does innately, obviously, they care, but there are always those people who don't give a shit. You know, they only care about the content that you bring, and they don't actually give a fuck about you personally.
Came under fire for collabing with his fellow Nijisanji member Mika Melatika, with their pair name being Miss Me. Many antis
I didn't actually know. I didn't actually know about their name, their ship name, I guess.
We dislike the pairing for various reasons. It's common in the VTubing space for people to really hate when creators collab with the opposite sex. It's a holdover from when VTubing was a new outlet for the Japanese idol industry, which forbids idols from dating because it's easier for fans to imagine themselves as dating the idols. And unfortunately, it's a trait that's been inherited by the West. However, because Mysta and Mika both enjoy each other's company, the collaborations remain,
just good
despite the
friends.
backlash. Additionally, Mika joked about using Mysta for clout, which wasn't received very well because aunties perceived Mika as a clout chaser who ignored her own division, Nijisanji ID, to work with Mysta instead.
I never told him like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use you for clout. I did say that as a joke. I was like, damn bitch, I'm gonna use you for clout.
One fan went so far as to make several different accounts to complain about the stream, and eventually Mysta felt compelled to comment on the situation to defend Mika. However, this wasn't the only attack
complete fucking idiots, I swear to God,
that Mysta experienced, with one major event resulting in Mysta getting doxxed. In September 2022,
I remember, is this the Tanari thing, whatever it was?
Mysta mispronounced the name of a character from Genshin Impact,
it is
Tainari. This name is extremely confusing in English, as the name originates from Arabic and uses sounds that do not exist in the English language, so it's not immediately obvious how to properly pronounce the name. In fact, the name is so awkward in English that the voice actor for the character mispronounces the name in the official English dub. Mysta chose to call Tainari Thigh Gap as a joke, and immediately afterwards made fun of TikTokers and Twitter users who would cancel him, which resulted in exactly what Mysta had joked about.
They deserve to be made fun of, because if you're genuinely getting offended that somebody mispronounced or said a funny name about your Genshin character, you actually need to go outside, okay, legitimately. Like, that's just actually depressing that there's genuinely people like that.
Making fun of his name? Whoopsie. I sure hope I don't get cancelled on TikTok by 13-year-olds and Twitter stands. Whoopsies.
This incident culminated in a dox for not only Mysta but also other members of Nijisanji EN, resulting in a lot of outcry from fans.
Fucking disgusting.
In Mysta's fanbase, The Mistakes, there is one fan who may be the most notorious Mysta hater. This is Horeo. Horeo is a deranged fan who became the Mysta Auntie, known for constantly sending Mysta comments and
Oh, I didn't actually know about this, really? I didn't actually know about this then by the name.
Was a deranged fan who became the Mysta Auntie, known for constantly sending Mysta comments in the attempt to convince Mysta that he's in the wrong. Most posts attributed to Horeo are anonymous, as Horeo frequents a lot of sites where anonymity is common, and Horeo's original Twitter got shut down, which leads to any anonymous hater being called Horeo. So some of what I'm about to say is not 100% confirmed.
Okay, so, you can't 100% verify that it's that same individual.
I am confident in my research. Horeo is disliked by a significant portion of Mysta's fanbase, and
you guys are acting like I'm crazy to politely request that a man doesn't obsess over his partner's body count and call them a slut for not wanting to share. That's what triggered him enough to expose me, by the way. Me asking politely off stream not to call women sluts or judge them by their body counts? The fuck?
And has been exiled from at least one fan forum under the name That One Anon. Within this forum, Horeo often complains about Mysta's hypocrisy, accusing Mysta of slut-shaming.
Mysta has a lice purity score of 18, but thinks sleeping with somebody with a high body count is gross. We're now okay?
While having a rice purity score of 18, as well as for being judgmental of other.
I just want to discuss this with people. It actually makes me so upset. It makes me want to cry that my Oshi is a slut shamer, but nobody wants to talk to me. I'm seriously crying because I'm so upset about this, but I don't have anywhere to go. Go outside and get a life. To go, because you all keep deleting my posts. Why am I not allowed to discuss this with people like everyone else? Why? God, ew, my...
Others' preferences. These complaints are questionable at best. After watching a bunch of the clips and streams linked by Horeo, or at least attributed to Horeo, nothing stands out to me as true, and most of Horeo's screeching comes across as schizo-delusion. Regardless, Mysta found himself a deranged fan in Horeo, who harassed him for at least 2 years.
Oh my god.
Fortunately, this story has a bit of a happy ending.
This happened post-graduation, so no proof.
As apparently Mysta and Horeo have spoken in private DMs and have agreed to both move on with their lives. Over time, Mysta became disillusioned by his experiences in Nijisanji. Eventually, in July 2023...
I still think that's actually insane that somebody is such a, intensive, like, you know, like hater or commenter or harasser, to the point where it actually gets, like, it gets to the individual, gets to Mysta, where they actually communicate with each other. It's insane. They got to that point where they actually, like, got to talk to them. Like, that's insane. That's actually, like, crazy. Like, literally insane. Like, literally baffling to me that it got to that point where they actually talked to Mr. You know, to him personally, or whatever, whoever Mr. is now. You know, that's insane. That's actually fucking insane.
3. Mysta announced that he would be graduating from Nijisanji.
That's your reason? I already have, to the extent that I, you know,
Can say,
I already have. Basically, guys, I've solved all the mysteries and problems in this city, and I'm moving to another one. You know, if we're going back to that candle analogy, well, my
Burnt
candle
out.
has been burned
Yeah.
all the way down to the base. And it's been at the base for half a year. Right? It's not burnout.
Mika also later spoke about her experience watching Mysta moving from a happy swimmer to being increasingly depressed over time.
Because I feel like people don't understand that, right? Innately, there's a huge difference, because Mr. said this about burning out or having some burnout and losing your passion. Burnout is recoverable. Having your passion be taken away or losing that passion cannot come back. That is not something. Maybe it can, but that passion might not be able to ever come back being in this space. Being a part of Nijisanji and being a part of. Being Mysta Rias may not be the right place for him to be able to gain back that passion. And I think people don't really, some people who aren't content creators don't understand that the differences between burnout and between, like, losing your passion. Because if you don't have the passion, then you're going to inevitably, with the hard work that you have to put in to being a part of Nijisanji, if you don't have the passion, you are going to worse than burnout, because burning out just means maybe you're overwhelmed, you're tired, and a break and taking a rest, you can recover from burnout. You can recover from that, even though you could be very burnt out to the point where you need a break for an extended period of time. A burnout can be recoverable, but losing your passion is something that isn't as easy as just, taking some time off and coming back, because a lot of content creators and streamers, when they lose their passion, they never come back. They graduate, they stop uploading, and they never come back, because the thing is, streaming or making content is what contributes to their depression and doesn't make them happy anymore. And that's an inherent issue of why losing your passion is so significantly more, it's significantly worse than burnout, because burnout isn't saying that making content or streaming or whatever is harmful to you or hurts you. It's just maybe that you're overwhelmed, or you need a rest because you've worked too hard. You've been you had all the, maybe you're stressed out. You've been doing it for a long time, consistently without a break. But that your passion isn't gone innately. Like, you just need to recharge. Your battery has been drained. Like, in Mysta's case, like, say hypothetically, when somebody is burnt out, their candle has been blown up, but burnout, but after a period of time, maybe stepping back for a little bit, you can get that lighter and you can light that candle back up. But if you lose your passion, like Mr. said, his candle is completely gone, the wax is all gone, and you can't just replace that candle with another candle to fix it. It is not that easy to it most likely it is not recoverable, because if it was recoverable, Mr. would have found that avenue. But because he lost his passion, and that innate passion, which losing that passion stops you from being able to work, it makes you sad, it makes you depressed, you're not happy. And innately, I just really do think that Mr. needed to leave in order to find that passion in another place, in another avenue. And hopefully, I feel like him kind of being on his own and having that the stress of being a part of Niji Sanji taken off his shoulders, he'll be able to regain that passion, and he'll be able to get another candle and replace his Niji Sanji candle with, being an indie or whatever he decides to do next. May not even be a VTuber next, whatever he decides to do or decides to be. Not trying to, not talking about what he is now, whatever. You can do your own research yourself for that. I'm not going to say that in this video, but yeah.
When we first met, he would talk nonstop about content. And I remember listening to like an hour plus of him talking about what his next week's schedule was gonna be, or what his stream was gonna be, what he's gonna do. And he would get so excited and invested in it. Like, he would say stuff like, oh my god, this week would be banger. I'm gonna have banger content. Like, the mistakes would love this. Oh, they would love this idea too. Oh god, like word per word, by the way. I'm not making this shit up. Like, he would say shit like that. I got to like see his gradual decline of his excitement.
Yeah.
Mista's slow move towards burnout was easily noticed by fans.
Burnout is a real thing. I myself have feeling it as a content creator, it's so hard to build motivation to stream or even make videos when you're feeling down. Yeah. Looking at the days gap between Mr. Stream is actually noticeable. He's tired from making content. Actually, the more you keep yourself down, the more hard for you to gain motivation for doing your job.
With many stating that they had seen a change in Mysta from when he had first started. Even as a casual watcher, I've noticed a huge change in Mysta's behavior.
I have, yeah.
Comparing Mysta's earliest streams to his latest streams shows how different Mysta's attitude has become over time, with his earliest stream being Sunshine and Rainbows, and his later streams being more negative in tone. Originally, the most popular theory was that Mysta wanted to leave Niji Sanji because of haters, although this theory was later debunked by Mysta himself. This theory originated because of two clips.
I really want to ask you, and I know it will never make a difference. I know it will never, ever, ever make a difference to the way that some people treat us, but I just really want to ask. I mean, I don't know, are you happy now?
How hatred affected me as a VTuber details the story of how one person sent a large amount of both supportive and hateful comments to harass Mysta by changing their username. I can't confirm if this hater is Horeo, but the comments do match Horeo's profile. Eventually, Mysta clarified that he wasn't leaving due to his haters, but was instead leaving for other reasons that he was legally unable to discuss. However,
I mean, that can definitely be that definitely could be something, as in, when you are feeling down and you're losing that motivation, right? Obviously, the hateful comments or people hating you don't help. Inevitably, like, in a hypothetical sense, like, say, like, you're already struggling to get that motivation to get up and stream or record videos, and you look at your phone, right? You're opening up Twitter, you're looking at your phone, and you see hate comments. Obviously, that inevitably is not going to help with your motivation and make you feel more motivated. Not saying that that's obviously, not saying that's like the reason, but I'm just saying as that could definitely be a contributing factor, or it could, in some situations, definitely not help, definitely not help the situation at hand.
Mysta claims that he encoded some of the reasons why he was leaving within his song Detect My Love, and he explained the lyrics of Detect My Love, and they have a lot to do with his VTubing
My
career.
mental state and a big reason for why I want to leave, right? It says, I'll be over in this corner going fucking insane, in my room alone writing these words inside my brain, the only outlet that I have since I rose to fame. When I'm sitting in my home, it doesn't feel the same. I need eyes on me now that I need constant attention. How the fuck can I live life when I'm not looking at mentions? As in like Twitter mentions.
Yeah.
Going crazy looking at my stats for viewer retention, which is a YouTube stat. I'm here stuck at my desk like I'm at detention. Like
My interpretation of these lyrics is that Mysta wanted to leave because he was tired of having to constantly worry about the numbers associated with content creation, viewer counts, subscriber counts, Twitter likes, and so on, although he also wanted out for other unknown reasons. Many fans speculate that Nijisanji management had something to do with Mysta's decision to graduate, however this is unconfirmed.
I mean, I think inherently it could also be as in, okay, we're not going to talk about like the management of the company, but it could also just be as in, you know, having the pressure of keeping up to the expectations of a company and of managers, and it being inevitably a job, you know, because for some people, like, having your content be a job can take away your passion. It could take the fun out of it, you know, because inevitably, being in a corporate space and being in a part of a company, that might make you hyperfixate on your numbers even more, just because to an extent, your numbers matters to a company. Like, it's not just you, it's an entire like ecosystem and a massive group of people that potentially are relying on you. You know, you have a company, you have managers, and all these people are looking at you and they're looking at your growth and have these expectations of you. So, you know, there's a difference between just being like an individual creator and, you know, obviously there's already that stress of being an individual creator and worrying about retention and views. I worry about that stuff, you know, inevitably as a solo creator, as an individual, as somebody who isn't attached to any company or anything, I worry about that. Most creators worry about that. But then you add on top of that, not just you looking at your attention and your views and stuff, but you have a company and you have managers who have expectations of you to hit a certain number, right? That could inevitably even more affect you in a sense and put some hindrance and make you hyperfixate and think about numbers even more, you know, because it's like, you know, so you think about it, if you're a streamer, if you're a content creator, you do it because it's fun, you enjoy it, it's a job, you know, you obviously you do want it to be a job, but you know, it inevitably, it is like a hobby. And then, you know, because a lot of the times, right, for some people, for some individuals, they don't enjoy their hobby anymore when it turns into a job. They don't, you know, and it could be the case for Mysta. And I do think that having those pressures could have added even more to that constant feeling trapped in looking at viewer attention and looking at growth and looking at views and all these stuff that I think a lot of content creators can like really relate to. Because I think almost every content creator, I think to some extent, has a inevitably, you know, looks at that stuff. And even more so, obviously, if your job is attached to your numbers innately, right?
This final stream was held on August 27th, 2023. It consisted of a long 2-part stream. The first part was 10 hours, with the second part being only 2.5. Throughout it all, he was able to say his goodbyes to a lot of Nijisanji's members. In the graduation stream, Mysta received many supportive comments from the other members of Nijisanji.
I tell this story all the time, but when I first joined, I joined this company because I had no idea it was gonna get to this level, but I joined it, I think, wanting like a side gig that I could just kind of do and relax while I was studying. But it was you who treated this with so much more effort and dedication, and you came in fucking guns blazing with so many unique ideas, so much more. You were doing so much more than I had ever thought of doing, and immediately I kind of felt like you inadvertently, just by being so excellent at what you did, you kind of lit a fire under me, and I was like, fuck, I need to keep up with this guy.
In his final moments, he stated his final fear.
One fear I had.
Okay, don't make me cry, Mysta. I swear to God.
I've mentioned a few times. Sort of people forgetting who I am, and I don't think people have. I really don't. I don't think you guys have forgotten at all.
Don't make me cry, okay?
I think you guys...
Mysta Rias was the passionate firebrand of Niji Sanji, the one who woke up every day eating, drinking, and breathing content ideas. He may not have always been perfect, and he may have occasionally annoyed his friends, but he was able to correct his actions and turn his coworkers into closer friends. But over time his passion left him, and he was unable to continue with Niji Sanji.
I think that also people kind of because I think this speaks, it's more of, I feel like it's his passion being in Niji Sanji, because I definitely do not think it is his passion in making content in general, because I 100% believe that he will come back in some form, and that he is going to continue making content in a more in a more healthier ecosystem for him in some other way. I just think that if he's, him being able to step away from Niji Sanji and away from Mysta Rias and being in a more healthier mental mindset, he is free to be able to make content in a more healthier way for him. Because I definitely do not think him saying he lost his passion is not him saying that he has lost his passion for making content in general. Because I 100% believe that he still wants to make content, just not just outside of Niji Sanji. But yeah, so I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. Did anyone enjoy this video? Please consider like, subscribe, and go to the channel. And let me know down below in the comments what did you think of what did you think of Mysta Rias and the disappearance of Mysta Rias. And I hope that I was able to at least give some commentary or some insight or whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing for more Niji Sanji videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.